Some people could kind of be there. All right. Black Power.
Black Power.
All right. What's up, y'all? You ain't got no phone over there, do you? What you got over there? I'm on tablet. Okay. Don't be on the tablet just for a little bit. All right. Just for a little bit, because part of this is for y'all too. Okay. And Cody and I was talking this morning about temples and everything and things we could be doing in the meantime, you know. And I said, you know what? We've been out here teaching the community so much, you know, we don't get to do it at home. And a lot of times, because we got to get things set up, or, you know, we got such a big family, whatever, we can't get everybody ready, get them to temple on time and that sort of thing. I mean, you look at a lot of freedom fighters, they don't get to know their children. They don't get to, or you look and you see their children not necessarily carrying on the legacy, you know, because they wasn't getting the teachings. Like Malcolm's daughter didn't get Malcolm like the community got Malcolm. Martin's children didn't get Martin like the community got Martin, you know. So when these leaders pass on, oftentimes you find, you know, where the children may not necessarily pick up the legacy, you know. Like I like Farrah Gray, but he didn't exactly grab the movement of Dr. Khaled. You know, of course, Khaled wasn't there a lot, you know, he went because of the nature of his work, you know what I'm saying? And so we were like, okay, let's change that dynamic. And let's make sure, let's start to have a temple in our homes, and let's challenge people across the country to make sure that you're doing something on one day of the week where you pull your family together and y'all teach and study and talk about the Creator, or talk about values, talk about character, talk about our expectations of each other as a family, as a village. And that's your temple, because the first temple is your body, but then you got the temple that is your what? Wow. That's your family, you know what I'm saying? And as activists, one of the things we tend to do is run out here, or what I've done is run out here and be in the streets with Black Power, but using home more of a place to sleep, eat, and get ready to go back into the streets and fight. Now, when you're building something, you have to put in them kind of hours, but we have to carve out time as a village to where we make sure that we're giving ourselves and our children everything that they need. So that's kind of where we are today, or how we feeling today. Is to challenge everybody out there to have a temple in their home, have a Nu Afrikan Temple inside their home. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we'll be out here in the community soon with a new building. We, you know, when we purchase one, because we got to stop renting. It's important that we practice ownership, that we show them ownership. You know, it's important that we do our Susu program, which starts this month, right? That's important that we do that, you know, not for the public face, but that's because we really need to do that in order to give them an inheritance. Check this out, Tajir. We got this plan where we talked about at the end of every year, we buy land, and it's y'all's inheritance. So instead of toys and a Christmas tree, well, we bought y'all some real trees. You know what I'm saying? Some actual trees that will belong to y'all as a village, you know what I'm saying, of children. And like by the time, if we doing that every year, you know, by the time Zuzu grows up, how much land will we have as an institution? You know, by the time Julani and them grow up, y'all will have land that you can build on, that you can build homes on. You know what I'm saying? So, and then y'all keep the tradition up so y'all can leave it to who? The next generation after that. And that's what we want to do. Yes.
Yeah, I would love to hear from them.
Yeah.
They see, you know, just what they think about the importance of that type of thing. Especially, you know, the ones that's over 10.
Okay.
Kind of the importance of, you know, us working to, you know, to have land ownership that we can pass down to y'all. How important that is to y'all. Just kind of hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Okay.
That being a focus, because you know a lot of parents, you know, focus on purchasing stuff, you know, purchasing material stuff, joints, you know, all this type of stuff. But we say that we want to focus on purchasing things that you can own and utilize to build wealth and build, you know what I'm saying, something that you can pass down to your kids. That's our focus. So, you know what I'm saying, putting in that type of work. What do y'all think about that?
I think it's good, because if we have more land, that's more land for us to build our own businesses on. facilitate development in our community and cause us to be more sovereign and not have to depend on the oppressor for things that we need to build.
Okay, okay. So what are some things you can do on your own land? What's some things you can do, Omar? Build businesses? Okay, yeah, you can build business on your own land. What else can you do on your own land?
Garden.
You can garden. In gardening, we grow what? Yeah, flowers and food. Yeah, all of that. All of that. So wouldn't y'all like to own some land of your own? Yeah, yeah. Well, it's our job to help y'all get there. You know, it's our job to get that for you. First and foremost, I know we talk about we're gonna give freedom for Black people, but the real way to do that, if we're gonna build our own nation and have our own things, you can't fight people that you depend on for everything, right? Right. Yeah. Like right now, if white folks got mad, they can just cut off the water. If the city of Fort Worth got mad, they can just cut our water off. Where we gonna get water at? Huh? Yeah, but if you got your own land, especially if you get some land that has a stream going through, right? Or water flowing up under it, you can build a well, you can get water, you can get food, you good to go, right? Yeah. That's what we want y'all to be. We want y'all to break the cycle. And what we mean by breaking a cycle, what's a cycle? When I say cycle, what is a cycle? Yeah, and kind of like a bicycle, right? Because as long as you're doing the pedals, the wheels are what? Turning. That's why they call it a bicycle or bicycle. Bi means two. How many wheels you have on a bicycle? Two. And they whirl around in a cycle, right? Right? And the same thing happens when you do the paddles. The wheels go in the same direction, don't they? And they don't stop unless you what? Unless you stop turning. Well, there are certain things that we do as a people that we need to stop turning. The problem is that we've been taught to do some of the wrong things so much that we're having a hard time stopping, right? Especially like when you ride a bike, it's hard to stop when you're going what? Downhill. And some of us, because of our choices, we begin to go downhill. And the faster we're going downhill, the harder it is for us to stop. Because we're scared we're going to flip off the bike, wreck, crash. We're afraid to stop because we're going too fast. Well, that's why we have to have temples. That's why we have to have discipline in our lives. Because when we go too fast, we have to learn how to slow down, slow ourselves down so we can eventually stop. Yeah. Well, that's what our generation is trying to do. That's what African people need to learn how to do. We need to learn how to slow things down sometimes so we can what? Stop. We want y'all to be cycle breakers. I want to play a song for y'all. I want to play a song for y'all today by myself and Mama and Koyo. You've heard it before. It's called Breaking Cycles. Omar's favorite, one of his favorite. Then he used to always say, cycles. Yes, every time they cycles. When we played this song. But we're gonna play this song, y'all, and then we're gonna I want you to tell me what part of the song stands out to you the most. All right? All right. I'm gonna have to plug this up. Hold on. Yeah, y'all need to charge it. You got a charger in your room? Yeah. All right, hurry up for me. Use a sense of urgency. Android. Okay. All right. Let me plug this up.
If the past isn't learned from, it's doomed to repeat. Trying to build myself a home with no room for the feet. Trying to sneak up on my feet, me and my kids gotta eat. The same responsibility to make my daddy retreat. But I won't abandon mine, cause I know how it felt. Growing up without my father's just the hand I was dealt. And I know I'm not alone, a lot of us can relate. Thinking daddy come and go sit on my porch and away. When he didn't show him still thinking maybe he late. Then my mama said, come on, set yourself straight. I'm hurt and confused, mama phone to me. My daddy shit don't stink, something must be wrong with me. Now that I'm wrong, my pop's gone, he died alone. Headstone on the reader, lots of rolling stone. So many had it done, but didn't do it today. Painful memories, my babies won't be miseries.
What y'all hear in that verse? What was I talking about? What stood out for you, Omar? I was talking about me not having my daddy around. Yeah. The part I go sit on my porch and I wait for him and he wouldn't show up. My mama used to always finally come back and tell me to come in the house. Or your daddy ain't coming, your daddy was right. Right? You felt that part? Yeah. But we're not around each other as much, huh? Yeah. And we're trying to break that cycle. Okay. How does that make you feel, Omar? Sad? Why? Why does it make you feel sad? Yeah. You sad for me because I have my daddy around? Yeah. You what? Yeah, you never met him. You never had a chance to meet him. Yeah. Okay. What you hear, Tajir?
The headstone, headstone, we did lots of rolling stone.
What I mean by that? What do you think I mean by that?
He was always like a lot of other women, like he was always moving around. So
Yeah. My dad was always moving around. He never committed. He was always into something, doing something. Now, I'm not that different from him. I'm not that different. I'm always into something too. But the cycle, what cycle do you think I'm trying to break?
The part where he's moving around but not having any contact with his family, not talking to his family and stuff.
Okay, yeah. Like that's important to me. It's important to me that I spend time with my children. It's important to me that my children have a father because I didn't have a father. I'm trying to break the what? Cycle. My dad's daddy wasn't necessarily there for him, but it's because they grew up in extreme poverty. My grandparents had 13 children. My father often had to steal in order to eat, literally, in East Texas, Jefferson, Texas, So his parents couldn't even afford him. You see what I'm saying? So he grew up running around, moving around in order to survive. So when he had children, he wasn't able to change that behavior that had kept him alive all these years. He wasn't able to change that behavior and break the what? Cycle. So I had to do it. His blood is in me, his blood is in you. So we're breaking the cycle. Y'all see how important that is? Huh? As y'all grow up, there are cycles that y'all have to break. Jelani, what stood out for you in that verse? When I said what? And you don't have to say it exactly how I said it. Yeah. Trying to get up on my feet because my kids got to eat. Yeah. What do you think I mean by that?
I think you mean that he is definitely made.
Okay. Great answer. I need to step up my game. Why? My what?
Your children have to eat, and you have to feed them and take care of them.
That's right. That's right. You have to do that. Sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, you know what? I'm just not doing enough. I got to do more, or I have to do better. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, you know what? I want life to be like this, but because I'm behaving this way, it's not going to be how I want it. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I want to go to medical school, Tajiri's talking about going to medical school, he has to step up his math and science. And he understands that, right? Anything we want to do better, we got to step it up, right? Yesterday, you fought a valiant fight. Let's give him a hand for that, too. You got in there, and you did what a lot of people scared to do. You got in the ring yesterday. But you got in there with somebody who's also learning how to what? How to fight. So you came away saying, okay, I got to step up my game. Nothing wrong with that. We all have to step our game up in our lives and do better, right? And we have to do that too if we're going to break the cycle. We got to do that, right? Jaleel, what were you about to say? You didn't raise your hand. Huh? You ready for the second part?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it now.
Family messed up on me. Got to be. I'm breaking cycles. Poverty, addiction, and pain. I'm telling pain, so my kids don't have to go to the same. I'm breaking cycles. This nonsense stops with me. Just a family messed up on me. I got to be. I'm breaking cycles. Poverty, addiction, and pain. I'm telling pain, so my kids don't have to go through the same.
Why am I handling things? What did y'all hear on that? I'm breaking cycles. This nonsense stops with me. Just because family's messed up don't mean I got to be. What am I saying right there? Huh? Yes.
Because your older generation is going to potentially stop it, so your kids won't be.
That's right. That's right. Just because I might have somebody who sells drugs in my family, or somebody who does drugs in my family, or goes to jail in my family, or I'll have somebody in my family who don't know their history. You know, sometimes it ain't something as serious as just as crime. But somebody who doesn't know their history, you know, just because they don't mean I shouldn't, right? Or just because my daddy didn't take care of me doesn't mean that I shouldn't take care of
Myself.
Yeah, and my what?
Family.
And my family. Just because family messed up don't mean I got to be. You think sometimes people might think that they got to be messed up because their family messed up?
No.
Huh? Yeah. Sometimes some people do feel that way. Some people do feel that way. That because things are bad in my family, that things got to be bad with me. I've had young people tell me, I'm going to end up in the penitentiary because my dad is in the penitentiary. I've seen teachers tell students, you're going to be in the pen like your dad, or you're going to end up just like your brother. Because they may have a big brother that's in prison or something like that. I've seen kids that use the fact that they brother in prison or whatever and take that on and try to be tough like they brother. And use it as a badge to like brag about, you know, I'm little low. My big brother, big low, in the penitentiary, 25. So they feel like they got to step up and be a gangster because their big brother was a what? Gangster. But just because my family is messed up don't mean I got to be. Little low can become a doctor, right? A lawyer, own his own business, right? Just because your parents drink alcohol, do you have to drink alcohol? No. No. You don't have to do that. All right? I'm breaking cycles of poverty, addiction, and pain. Cycles of poverty, addiction, and pain. That's something that most Black people in America can identify with. That we grow up trying to break cycles of poverty, addiction, and pain. Maybe just one of them. Some of us, all three. But African-centered education and learning knowledge of self, the purpose of that is not to get us cute with locks and wearing all the fancy dashikis. The purpose of it is to help us break cycles. The cycle of poverty. What is poverty? What's poverty? When we say poverty, even adults can answer this. What's poverty?
Poor.
Being poor? What is that?
Not having enough money to provide.
Okay, not having enough money or resources to provide, right? Poverty. Now, we can be poor. Poor is when it's just you or just your and me. Poverty is when you trapped in a whole system of being poor. Poverty is when you in a situation where poor is normal, where your parents were poor, it's generational. You were born into a poor family, your children gonna be born into a poor family. You go to a school that's gonna track you into a underpaying job, right? You live in a community where there's working class people and poor, where there's poverty, rampant poverty in your community, right? Low to no ownership. You look around the community we live in right now, and the people who make up the majority of the neighborhood don't own the majority of the businesses or the land or the house. That's poverty, right? So to break that cycle, to break the cycle of poverty, what do we have to do?
We have to buy more land.
Okay, how can you buy land when you're already poor?
Well, we should circulate the dollar, the money we do make. It's more black-owned businesses to circulate the dollars in our community. Okay, so figure out how to circulate the dollar within our own community. I like that. What else? How do you break the cycle of poverty? I want to hear from the adults.
Change the mindset.
Change the mindset. Whose mindset?
The adults. The adults and the children.
From what to what?
From consumer-based mindset to owner-based mindset.
Consumer-based mindset. The mindset of a customer. I always want to buy something, right? Buying liabilities.
You can't, it's not a
don't appreciate. They depreciate in value.
Okay. Well, if I buy an Xbox, I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Yeah, it's gonna bring me fun. It's gonna bring me joy.
And you can't sell that Xbox for more than what you bought it for.
But wait a minute, if I buy some Jordans though and rims for my car, I look like I got money. If I got rims and some cool shoes, don't that mean I got money?
No.
Huh? What you think, July? What you think? Come on, man. If you see me with some rims on my truck and some fresh new Jordans, don't that mean I got money? Huh?
That means you got cool Jordans?
That does mean I have cool Jordans. Do that mean I got money? I must be rich on my. If I got some rims and I got some nice shoes on, I must be rich. Why you say that? I could have. No, I bought it. Nah, I work for it. And I got some rims and I got some nice Jordans. I must be rich.
Where you living?
Huh? Well, I mean, I'm true to the hood.
Do you rent?
How you eat?
Am I eating ramen noodles there? No, I'm eating good.
Are you renting?
Huh?
Are you renting?
Yeah.
What do you own?
What do I own? My rims.
How much do rims cost?
Well, they cost me $1,200.
What about Jordan? Because I
No.
want Jordan.
Huh?
What about Jordan?
My Jordans cost $200. I must have money. Is this wealth?
No.
This ain't wealth, this. Just because I have the ability to buy stuff don't mean I'm wealthy.
It's just rims and some Jordans.
Y'all understand what I'm saying? You don't get rich. You don't end poverty by spending money. You end poverty by keeping the money that you get. You save it. Then you use it to get something that's going to bring you more.
Appreciating value.
Opening a business, buying land. Land is always going to have value. Right? Right? What you live?
When you break stuff, you could sell it.
No, you can't. And that's what happened to a lot of us. We break our stuff, and I might have spent $1,200 on my rims, But after I done scratched them up, I try to sell them. I might have to sell them for $200. I lost $1,000. And matter of fact, you can never sell something, right, that you buy and use. Once it's used, you can't sell it for what you bought it for or for more. People don't pay you more for stuff that you use. If your PlayStation 4 costs $400 and you play it for 6 months and you try to sell it, you can't sell it for $400.
Sell it at most for like $200.
You do exploitation.
Yeah, if you do, you done con somebody, right? That means what you own has lost its value. So did it make you money? No. Yes.
That's why some nerds and stuff keep like comic books and games and toys is like mint condition.
That's right. Some collectors will buy something, a comic book, whatever, and they won't read it. They might look through it one time, moving the pages real gentle. They keep it in mint condition, package it, and put it what? Put it away because it may have value in the future. You have people who, I had a sister came the other day and she gave me a Marcus Garvey coin from Jamaica. Wow. Because Marcus Garvey's on the coins in Jamaica. She collects coins, you know, and it's not really a rare coin because he's still on their money. You know what I'm saying? But it was just a real cool thing to collect that may have what? One day. May have value later. Yes.
I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, because we was talking about when you purchase things that are seen as material things, like I think we said Xbox, we talked about Jordans. I guess the only exception would be is the mindset. That's why I think that's why the mindset part is important. Because if you got an ownership mindset when you purchase something, you're thinking more of, okay, from this purchase, how can you already thinking about if it can be resold, or if you can do something with it after your usage or something from that purchase, as opposed to you just feeling good about having it on or putting it on. You know what I'm saying? Like a collector. Collector, when he get it, they not getting it just to show, oh, I got now. They get it because, okay, in 5 years, I'm going to be able to flip this by 10. Or even with some people with Jordans, they able to some kind of way put them in a position to where they know, okay, in 3 years, these gonna go back up. Yeah. And then I can turn around and do this one, but that's a small percentage.
I'll give you an example. Michael Jackson, when he was alive, one of the things that he bought was the Beatles music. It was one of the most famous white pop groups of all time called the Beatles, right? And they had a huge catalog of music that's gonna make money for them forever. Well, Michael Jackson, being a savvy businessman, he bought the rights to their music. I think he paid hundreds of millions of dollars, and he bought it. But that means every time somebody played a Beatles song, he got paid. If you want to sample it, if you want to sit down, sit straight, don't leave. If you want to sample it or whatever, you got to pay. Michael Jackson wasn't even his song. Y'all read the other day, somebody's trying to buy his catalog. From his estate, from his family.
Sony $475 million.
$500 million for Michael Jackson's music. Sony, the same company that make the PlayStation, is trying to buy Michael Jackson's music for $500 million. Think about it. Did Michael Jackson fly into the sky, grow wings, and then magically make songs? He sat down with a pen and what? Some paper, and got so good at it, and people valued his work so much. Now a company wants to pay $500 million for some words that he wrote down on a piece of paper and recorded in the studio. That's powerful. Sometimes to break the cycle of poverty, we have to have, well, not know sometimes, all the time, we got to have ownership. We have to own what we create. What we have to do?
Own what we create.
We have to own what we create. We have to be inventors. We have to be creative. And we have to own what we create. All right? All right. So the chorus said, breaking the cycles of poverty, addiction, and pain. Right? I want y'all to think about that. All right, here we go.
I grew up watching my mother get hooked on drugs, getting drugs through my I wanted to hug, but the drugs prevented my mother from giving me love. She would come and go, I would come and grow. 2 years in a what was time, I would come to know she was a victim of circumstance. I seen the drama. They didn't give me no July, became a teenage mom. They would tell me that was it. I was taking a place. I was young, had a baby in the hood. Notice I thought it was good. Maybe they gon' give me love that my family should. I admit I ran the streets like a call of the wild, but I just never came on love like the love of a child. Begin to grow, accepting God, started thinking my mind. My friends didn't wanna go, I had to leave them behind. I'm breaking cycles, this constant stops with me. I'm breaking cycles, this constant stops with me. Just was everything that's for me. I'm breaking cycles, but poverty, addiction, and pain. I'm telling things, so my kids don't have to go to this place. I'm breaking cycles, this constant stops with me. Just was everything that's for me. I got to be. I'm breaking cycles, but poverty, addiction, and pain. I'm telling things, so my kids don't have to go through the same. I'm breaking cycles, watching my mother's get hooked on drugs, forgetting structures of love. Got some coke out thug, I told her get it. So many times I wanted to hug, but the drugs prevented my mother from giving me love. She would come and go, I would come and grow. Tutors in her, what was in her, I would come to know. She was a victim of circumstance. I seen the drama, didn't give it though till I became a teenage mama. They would tell me that was it. I was taking a place, I was young, had a baby, plus I'm wearing a face. In the hood, notice I thought it was good. Maybe they would give me love that my family should. I admit I ran the streets like a call of the wild, but I just never came on love like the love of a child. Begin to grow, accepting God, started speaking my mind. My friends didn't wanna go, I had to leave them behind. I'm breaking cycles.
What stood out for you in that verse? What stood out for you in the Koyo's verse? Yes. What you mean by that? What do you think? Wow. What image comes to mind? What scenario comes to mind in your mind when you hear that?
My mama cried and stuff. My mama had like a needle or something.
Okay. Wow, that's a deep image right there. That's a deep image. What there? You got your hand up? Okay. Omar, what stood out for you?
She said she needed my love.
Okay. Okay. Why does that stand out for you? Sit up. Yeah. Why does that part stand out for you? Why does that stick out in your mind? Or how does it make you feel? It makes you feel sad. Okay. Okay. Jaleel.
Fourth part.
The fourth part. Okay. What was the fourth part? I like the fourth. I like the third part too. Yes. Jelani, what stood out for you in that verse? Yeah. Who in there gets love from their mother, quote unquote, have a relationship with your mama, and it's a positive relationship, a good relationship. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. 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 You kind of like, yeah. 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 And does listen to that verse kind of make you wonder what that feels like? Or to say that and that be true about your life. Could you even fathom that? Could you know, because you've had two mothers, you know. So, I mean, I guess the only person that can really tell us is in Koyo, you know, like what was that feeling to be caught up in that type of a cycle and what motivated you to break it?
Well, I always just thought that, and it's crazy, I never looked down on my mama. I never hated her. I never despised her. And part of the reason is, despite the maybe the ugly things that went on in my grandmother's house, my grandmother and my aunts took care of me. So I had some female interaction, but it wasn't my mama. And even though I got fed a lot of negative images of my mama from other people, I still longed for my mama. And when I say that the drugs prevented my mama from giving me love, it was just that it took her away from me. Not necessarily, I never saw her do drugs in front of me. When I was younger, I never really saw bad images of that we see now, what they say drugs, how they do people. I never saw that on her. She was always well dressed, always had a car, always had money and things when I would see her. It was the things that prevented her from giving me love is that she wasn't there when she said she was coming. She didn't, and if she got me, it was a small amount of time. I never lived with her really. So I don't know what it's like to live with a mama, with my mama. She didn't hug me. She didn't really sit down and talk to me. We never really got into I never really got into an argument with my mama because I didn't have that time. We didn't have that interaction. So it's like I always fantasized about my mama. I glorified her in my mind. You know, I wanted to be a computer analyst because my mama worked with computers that I knew of. And I just wanted to be just like my mama. I wanted to dress like my mama. So those things, but I got no love. That was all fantasy. When I grew up to really find out what my mama, the things she went through and then how the drugs caused her to be and how it affected her, it just made me, it made me kind of happy that I wasn't with her. But you still long for your mom. So that's when you say that. And then I guess everybody, as you can hear, I'm listening to the song, and I always go back to love. It was all women want love. Mamas want love. We want love from our mamas. And because our mamas teach us how to love, because we have to love other people someday. Women show a lot of emotion and love, and if we don't know how to show it properly, then we show it in a bad way. We might yell and scream a lot. We may not be able to verbally say I love you. We may not be able to hug you without feeling all crazy, or we may not be able to cry when it's time to cry, when it's something to say to cry. So women always long for love, and that's what I longed for my mom. I wanted her to teach me how to be a woman, how to be a mama, and I didn't have that.
Okay. So what motivated you to break the cycle?
What motivated me is because
sometimes that cycle repeats itself.
And it started to, because my grandmother had her babies when she was young. She had her first baby when she was like 16, 17. My mama had me when she was 16. I had my first when I was 17. My second when I was 19. But the whole time I'm watching my mama, watching my grandmother struggle, watching my aunts struggle. My grandmother had 8 children. Out of her 8 children, all 6 of her children were drug addicts. And I said I couldn't do that. I didn't want to do that. It's got to be something better out there for me. This is not my life. I always felt like I wasn't a part of that family. And it wasn't that I was ashamed.
Yeah.
It wasn't I just always felt different. Like this is not where I'm supposed to be. So it pushed me to want to do better. And also just to show my family that we could be something other than what you see, what it is. And then what part of me wanted to show my grandmother that one of her children, because I was her daughter. That was my mama. That's who I call mama. But to show her that somebody that one of her children that she raised could be more than just a dope fiend or a addict or to someone, a letdown to her. So that it motivated me to do that. And then I didn't want to pass it along to my babies because I knew that it's better. This is not what life is about.
Yeah.
So I wanted something different from them. And therefore by me, definitely I graduated with 2 babies, high school. It was a top 10% of my class. I graduated earlier than what I should have, according to the stuff that I was going through. And my oldest daughter is about to be 23, no babies. My youngest daughter from that first set, about to be 18, no babies. So I think I've broken that cycle. And my son, no babies. They all have none. Yeah. And they're going on to do other things. And they didn't have to see drug addiction running rampant in their home immediately. So
breaking the cycle.
Can I say something about it?
Yes.
I think what stood out to me in her verse, and I think this is going back to what she said, it's something that kind of, even if you're not in that direct situation, it's something that we kind of get that point in our life where we feel ourselves, we have to make the decision whether we're going to be our parents or be somebody different, because we see the roads that they took. when she says, when they said, I'm taking her place because I'm wearing her face.
Yeah.
Like you see yourself in your parents, and you have to decide whether you know those negative things.
Yeah.
Whether you want, because my mother, although she didn't go through any of the stuff that your mother went through as far as drugs or whatever, it was very hard for her to show affection. It was very hard for her to show affection. That was not the way she showed it. She showed it by you know, providing and buying things and things of that nature, but to actually give you a hug and a kiss or say I love you, that was very hard for her. And I watched her break that cycle with my children.
Yeah.
And with, you know, with her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren, she's had to break that cycle for herself.
Yeah.
To say, okay, I see what result that may have had on my children, so I'm not going to let it go on to the next generation.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, Black families, we dealing with it. We dealing with it. Because not only do we have the regular human stuff, but we living in a foreign culture, a destructive culture that's teaching us social norms, is teaching us behaviors that are self-destructive, attitudes that are self-destructive. We've been slaves in this country. We've been second-class citizens in this country. So we've been lied to about who we are, lied to about our history, given gods that don't look like us. Then you throw that on top of everything else that's right there. And you got a recipe for disaster. You got a recipe, you know, for some serious work to get that change, to break those cycles. We got some deep cycles to break, you know. I mean, for what stood out for you in that verse?
About becoming a teen mom, you know, and trying not to, you know, follow in the footsteps.
Yeah. So here we are, like, okay, I'm not. Then become a teen mother. And it was never you mentioned that you heard them. People were saying, just like
your mama. And you look just like your mom. You're gonna be like your mom. You're gonna end up doing this and doing that. And that would always plague me. So when I did have a baby as a teenager, I was like, whoa, I may be going in that direction. Yeah. But I had a moment where I was down on myself, but I had to pick it back up and realize that I'm not my mama. And even though those things may have happened, I am my mama. As I got older, I am my mama. Yeah. And those things happen, the same things happen to her, happen to me. And that's just something I'm gonna push out of what she wasn't able to push out of.
Because breaking a cycle is not about being ashamed of who you come from.
No, it's just about doing something different.
Yeah, matter of fact, it's a form of uplifting who you came from. You can live this through me.
It's like bringing honor to your family.
That's right. It's about bringing honor. And as Black people, we got to stop, like what Baba Mahari says. We got to stop living in toxic shame. Yeah. We got to stop. Some people get into so-called consciousness out of shame. And they become ashamed of their people. Yeah. And you know, and they think that we would be free if it wasn't for niggas. They don't even fight white supremacy. They fight how they used to be and think out of that shame. But it's not shame. I see with the arguments that go on and the beef. Some people just drop the whole revolution cause two people fight. Cause two people get in an argument. They say the whole revolution is full of disunity. Yeah. That's a lie. Right? We go all day, we educate children, right? We connect with other families across the country. We see all the positive things going on. I see Kamali Academy developing new curriculum. I'm seeing Baba Ifadale about to come up here to do a garden expo, you know, but people want to talk about the rift. Everyone want to talk about what's going on between RBGs and SETI or things like that. They focus in on the negative, one little negative. You know, and you have a lot of people who just focus in. I've seen people make comments like, see, the whole movement is divided. No, how? No. Where? Yeah. But we highlight that because we're so easily ashamed. We're so easily ashamed of every little thing we do. But when we were on the plantation, that they ruled us with shame and guilt. So it shows up in our movements to the point to where we just dealing with a bunch of toxic shame, and you can't break cycles with shame. Shame don't break cycles. You have to break cycles with pride. You have to break cycles with confidence. You have to break cycles believing in yourself, believing in your creator, believing in your ancestors. That's how you break cycles.
You know, I wanted to say that, you know, when people are saying, you know, people, you would throw it as an insult. You look just like your mama. You can be just like your mama. And I know a lot of times when people say, oh, you just acting like an African, you just acting like a black person, that it is thrown on you as an insult as well. But that's not always bad, because if it wasn't for your being black, being African, me looking like my mama, being my mama, I wouldn't be who I am.
That's right. So
we have to take back those things, those insults and those things that they're trying to force us to use as toxic shame, and take that back and take it as a badge of honor. Yeah. Because now people, you know, years later, people will say, oh, you look just like your mama. Oh, thank you. I sure do. I look good, don't I? Yeah. I'm good. You know, we have to take back, oh, you just like a black, you just acting like a black person. Yeah. Well, thank you. That's what I am.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But it's a trip out when we go off on somebody, we say, well, I had to go black on.
Yeah. Yeah. But what were you doing before?
Yeah, what was you doing before that? What were you being when y'all were calm and you were being polite? Yeah. What were you being? Yeah. Yeah. So you weren't being black when you were saying, okay, sure, no problem. And you was trying to resolve it peacefully, you weren't being black. But when it turned into a conflict, I had to get black on.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, once you start learning history, you learn that the calm is the African.
Yes, you learn that the civilized way to resolve conflict is the African in you. Yeah. And when you went off and went crazy, that was the European. Yeah. You were just a European that talked with street slang. Yeah. But it's still a European, right?
Yeah.
So So that's very interesting. That's a very interesting dynamic. Yeah. That I think people sleep on. Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting dynamic that I think people sleep on. That we push our culture off on the negative aspect of who we are. That's being black. And the positive aspect by default is being what? Being white.
Being white. Yeah. Yeah.
So all right. So we got yes.
I was just gonna say that my favorite part after listening to it, you don't listen when you're rapping. I know. When you're performing, you don't pay attention to the words. But after listening to it and breaking it down, I think the part that stuck out to me was that at the end when I said discovered God, started speaking my mind. My friends didn't want to go. I had to leave them behind. That's two. It happened twice for me. When I wrote that, I was thinking when I entered into a spiritual life into the church. A lot of my friends did want to go. I had to leave. I started focusing on different lifestyle, and I started doing things differently. But then also when I left the so-called organized organization of church and came and discovered my history, my God self, I discovered God. Yeah. Started speaking my mind. Yeah. And a lot of my friends didn't want to go. And you had to leave them behind.
Because you was breaking another what?
Another cycle.
You was breaking a spiritual chain.
Spiritual chain. Yeah. So that's my favorite. Now listen, that's one of those things that
it happened. And the thing is, you can break multiple cycles in your life.
Yes.
And have to leave groups behind. And it's not that you don't love them. It's not a desertion type thing. It's not putting them down. It's just that I'm on this journey to break this cycle. And if you're not ready to go on this journey, that's fine, but I'm not going to stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Omari, Tajiri, y'all going to have friends that may not necessarily want to walk the walk that you're going to walk. Mara, you might have a friend one day to say, man, we're going to start skipping school. I ain't going to school no more. We ain't going to school. We just got to get in these streets and get some money. You have to make a choice. Are you going to follow along with them? Or are you going to stick to your education? Sometimes you make a choice and you got to leave your friends behind in order to break a what? Cycle. Because we have a cycle of violence going on in our community among young black males in particular. But don't sleep on the cycle of violence among young black females.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not all physical violence.
No.
There's so much emotional violence that I've witnessed go on between black females.
Yeah.
Black women and black girls, black women and other black women. So much. I've seen some fist fights too, but I've seen a lot of emotional violence.
Yeah.
Spiritual violence.
Absolutely.
Seen people pray against other people. I seen people condemn other people.
Mm-hmm.
Going hell. Spiritual violence. Yeah. We have to break these cycles. Yeah. Not to become the only people in the world that never hurts each other. Mm-hmm. Nah. But all of the violence and the things connected to our enslavement that we perpetuate, we got to break that. We got to break that cycle breaker. So we challenging everybody out there too. What cycles do you have to break in your life? What cycles do you want to break in your bloodline in order to honor your family, the people that you come from? What cycles do you want to break? Do you need to break? Is it a cycle of addiction? Is it a cycle of pain, mental violence, physical violence? Is it a cycle of poverty? If so, what are you doing about it? What do you want to do about it? I say it all really begins with knowledge of self. It begins with knowledge of self, knowledge of who we are as a people, our legacy, where we come from, the walk that we've had with the Creator. When we talk of spiritual solution, it needs to be an African-centered spiritual solution to break those cycles. But they need to be broken. And until we break these cycles, or until we get committed to breaking these cycles, we'll continue to have a lot of the issues that we have in our community. So everybody out there, it's time to commit to breaking cycles. All right? All right? Who's a cycle breaker in here? We're going to break some cycles. Yeah? Yeah? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Ashe?
Ashe.
All right, we done today. That's easy. Wasn't that easy, y'all?
Ashe.
Huh? That was quick and painless, yet powerful, I hope.
We just broke a cycle.
We just broke a cycle. All right. Those watching the broadcast, thank you for watching. Black Power.
Black Power.